I still remember the moment the storm grabbed me, when the sky turned into a dark, silent void beneath my wings. I still remember the moment the storm grabbed me, when the sky turned into a dark, silent void beneath my wings. As I fell, I didn't know where I was going. I only felt the cold slicing through every bit of fluff on my body. The ground caught me, wet, hard, and unforgiving. It wasn't a landing. It was survival stopping abruptly. I tried to open my eyes, but all I saw were trembling streaks of light fading in the storm's shadow. Each breath grew thinner, and fear whispered that this might be my final moment. But then, I heard footsteps. Someone was coming. Too weak to lift my head, I could only sense a warm presence cutting through the cold rain around me. He covered my tiny body with his jacket, shielding me as if I were the most fragile thing he'd ever held. In that small moment of warmth, something inside me decided to keep fighting. He lifted me gently, so carefully, as if he feared I might break apart in his hands. Pressed against his warmth, I still trembled, but I no longer felt alone. As he ran through the cold, soaked forest, every step felt like another heartbeat borrowed from my survival. Then, through the heavy mist, red rescue lights appeared, like a beacon guiding me back toward life. 2 rescue workers stepped in, calm, focused, their eyes full of understanding for something as delicate as me. They wrapped me in soft fabric, careful not to touch my fragile feathers, saving whatever warmth I still had left. I heard their voices, short, urgent, determined, and for the first time, their urgency didn't scare me. They placed me inside a rescue box with a tiny window, just enough light to remind me I was being watched over. The vehicle rumbled beneath me as we drove, but this time, the shaking didn't frighten me. It comforted me. So I closed my eyes, not from exhaustion, but from believing my story wasn't ending here. When the doors of the rescue center opened, I was too weak to lift my head, but I felt the gentleness in every step they took. Hands trained to protect fragile lives moved around me, steady, careful, and full of a quiet kind of hope. They listened to my faint heartbeat, as if each tiny rhythm mattered more than anything else in that room. Lying on the bright exam table, I felt impossibly small, yet they treated me as if I were worth saving. They checked my wings, still soft, still unformed, and searched for injuries I was too young to understand. I remember the sound of tools being arranged, not cold or frightening, but purposeful, like preparation for a second chance. Numbers on a screen seemed meaningless to me, yet I could sense relief in their voices every time something improved. They supported my tiny legs and inspected every fragile part of me with patience I had never known. When they carried me to the incubator, I felt warmth return to my body, gentle, steady, like a memory of a nest I'd lost. Inside that soft glow, my breathing eased, and for the first time since falling, my body stopped trembling. Through the glass, I could see their eyes following every movement I made, even the smallest blink. Slowly, I opened my eyes wider, realizing the world wasn't as dark as I remembered. They adjusted heat, humidity, and light around me, shaping the air itself to help me heal. Every breath was still a challenge, but with them nearby, I no longer felt like I was fighting alone. A droplet of water touched my beak, and in that simple moment, I understood. Someone wanted me to live. I watched them write notes about me, lines and symbols I didn't understand, but they meant progress. Those early days were long and quiet, yet each hour brought back a little more strength. My tiny body twitched with new energy, surprising even me, proof that I was slowly returning. One morning, I blinked into the warm light and felt a spark inside me, a feeling I hadn't felt since before the storm. In the safety of that incubator, surrounded by people who refused to give up on me, I began to believe in life again. Every morning, they opened the incubator with such care, as if the slightest rush could break the fragile progress I was making. Their adjustments, tiny turns of knobs and switches, slowly brought comfort back into my small, exhausted body. My breathing grew steadier, each inhale a little easier, each exhale less filled with fear. Machines beeped softly around me, and even though I didn't understand them, they sounded like encouragement. The ultrasound showed my tiny heart still fighting, and somehow that image became the reason I kept trying. In those moments, their hands felt like warmth I didn't know humans could give. As strength returned, I found myself blinking more often, curious again about the world outside the glass. By the third day, I could twitch my legs, just enough to feel like they still belonged to me. A sip of water, a tiny bite of food, each one felt like reclaiming a piece of life. They moved me to a recovery area where the lights were softer, making everything feel calm, safe. The warm lamp above me dried my feathers, allowing them to fluff back up, like little signs of rebirth. Droplets on my fuzz shimmered in the light, reminding me that even after storms, beauty returns. They adjusted humidity levels to mimic a nest, protective, gentle, like the home I'd lost. I tilted my head for the first time since the fall, noticing colors and shapes I'd forgotten. Fear slowly faded, replaced by something new, curiosity. They placed me in a padded nest designed for fragile creatures like me, and I felt held, even without a mother's wings. Here, my tiny feathers were safe from cold winds and sharp branches, just warmth and quiet. The soft light above me wrapped me in comfort, giving my body the strength it needed to heal. I learned to steady myself on my trembling legs, each moment a victory no one else could see. And with every small step forward, I realized I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was beginning to return. The day they moved me to the training enclosure, I felt something I hadn't felt since the fall possibility. Standing on that soft perch, I realized how much stronger my tiny body had become. Lights warmed my feathers, and for the first time, I sensed the idea of sky returning to me. My first wing beats were shaky, but they whispered a truth. I was meant to rise again. Balancing on the perch, I felt my instincts slowly waking after a long, quiet sleep. The breeze they created brushed through my fluff, reminding me of what wind once felt like, before the storm changed everything. As my wings spread wider, I realized how far I had come from that helpless bundle on the forest floor. My first little jump wasn't graceful, but when I touched the padded ground, I knew I was learning. Landing didn't scare me anymore. It simply told me to try again. When they brought out the small ramp, it felt like a test, one I was finally ready for. I climbed slowly, feeling every muscle tremble, not from fear, but determination. From the top, I leapt, short, fast, imperfect, yet it felt like reclaiming something I had lost. The next jump lasted longer, a moment where air held me instead of rejecting me. And then the door to the outdoor training field opened, flooding the room with real sunlight. I stepped onto the grass, soft and warm beneath my feet, and the sky, my sky, waited for me again. They carried me back to the mountains, back to where my story could have ended, but didn't. Standing on that rock, I felt the wind lift my feathers. Familiar, powerful, and finally welcoming again. I opened my wings, not fully grown but strong enough, and trusted them to carry me. For the first time since the storm, I took flight, not as the helpless chick I once was, but as a survivor. And now, when I soar above these valleys, I remember those who saved me. If you want to help more lives like mine, join Wild Miracle Rescue, and don't forget to subscribe so no miracle goes unseen.